Planet Vero Studio is powered by the Nolan Group of eXp Realty. MyNextHomeFinder.com.
Hey, what's up, everybody? I'm David Yak here.
And I'm Susan Keller-Horn.
There you go.
I forgot my name for a moment. Sorry, David.
and you're listening to Yak About Today in film, where you never know where the show will go. So, lean back, rest, or get up, put your headphones on, go for a run, but listen to what we yak about today. Hey, thanks for listening. Once again, I'm David Yak here. You're listening to Yak About Today, and I am sitting across from my dear friend, Susan Keller-Horn. How are you, Susan?
I'm doing great. I'm doing great. Besides forgetting my name.
Yeah, well, I do that often. I think it's an age thing, to tell you the truth.
The CRS can't remember stuff.
That's why we got all this paper
notes.
in front of us. Anyway, you know, the film festival, the Vero Beach Film Festival, sponsors the show. And we have about 49 days left until the festival starts, June 9th through 12th, and 49 days to make this festival happen. Susan, are we going to do it?
We're going to do it. And you, our listeners and viewers, are going to go to vbfilmfest.org and get your passes, get your tickets. Right now, you can buy passes for all 4 days or for a 4-pass. We also have a dinner on Wednesday night, June 8th, which is going to be amazing. Those tickets are all on sale right now on vbfilmfest.org. You can also get your tickets for an individual events. We're going to have some pretty amazing individual events, but those won't go on later because all our pass holders have first crack at getting those things.
And you know something? This isn't only limited to sort of Vero Beach or Miami or Orlando, the festival, but all of you, a lot of people come from California, Napa Valley, and New York, and Chicago. So everybody's welcome to the festival on June 9th through 12th. And by the way, you have to make your reservations now because airline tickets are going to go up, and we want you here June 9th through 12th. And we have special rates if you contact us with the local hotels. So we hope you'll join us.
Oh, yeah. And we're going to have filmmakers that are coming from all over. And as a matter of fact, we're speaking to 2 filmmakers that plan on being with us this festival. And the first one up is Gaspar Gonzalez. And his film is Errol Flynn's Ghost, Hollywood in Havana. Hi, Gaspar.
Well, hi.
Oh, good. We got you.
I'm here.
All right, Gaspar. What took me so much at the beginning of this film was when you started showing the theaters. I think most of us had no idea that these grand, opulent theaters existed in Cuba. You never think of Cuba that way, you know. And what inspired you? How did you find this?
Well, what inspired the subject matter, or kind of going in search of these old movie theaters?
Well, we're going to talk about both, but I was really taken by the movie theaters.
Yeah, well, so Cuba. I came across an interesting fact, which is that the city of Havana, by some estimates, had more theaters or movie houses than New York City did in 1950, which is an amazing statistic if you consider that New York was a city of 8 million people in 1950. Havana was a city of 1 million people. And in fact, by some estimates, Havana had more movie house seats per capita than any other major, place in the world. And so I was fascinated by that. I was fascinated by that. And then obviously, most of what they saw, especially in Havana, were American movies, starting 1920s, 1930s, through the 40s and through the 50s. American films were commonplace. I mean, not just commonplace, but Cubans were watching the same films that Americans were watching in New York and Chicago and Los Angeles at virtually the same time. And so all of that was interesting to me. My parents are Cuban, and I knew about this. I mean, I knew that Cubans had this intense love for American films. I mean, going back to when I was a kid, I remember in the 70s, I was, 7, 8 years old. My dad would often walk into the room and I'd have an old movie on. I always loved old movies. And I'd have an old movie on and he'd watch for a minute or two and he'd say something like, oh, well, this is the one where, and then he would tell me the rest of the movie, and these were not, this wasn't Casablanca. These were like obscure movies, back in the days when, this is pre-cable, right? So movies didn't play. You couldn't just dial up a movie. A movie might play on TV once every few years, and some movies wouldn't play at all. But he would invariably walk in the room, and he would know exactly what I was watching. And finally one day I said to him, "How do you know all these movies?" And he said, "I saw them all in Cuba." So all of that kind of came together for Errol Flynn's Ghost. I mean, that's really what the film is about.
And how did you choose Errol Flynn? What was it about Errol Flynn and Cuba and these incredible movie houses that made you want to make this film?
So we tell the story. So the film on one level is about this cultural obsession that Cubans had with Hollywood movies for decades. And Flynn becomes a kind of a useful character to help us track that because he was incredibly popular. Not all stars of the 30s and 40s were as popular. He was incredibly popular in Cuba for reasons that we get into a little bit in the film. He also had personal experience he loved going to Cuba for lots of reasons. He liked a good time, and Cuba in the 30s and the 40s was a good time. But of course, the climax of the film is when Flynn finds himself in Cuba at a pivotal moment in history. And so he just becomes a very useful vehicle for kind of carrying us through the film.
And that vehicle is the Cuban Revolution, and he went from being an actor to actually being Robin Hood in Cuba. So
yes,
I love that time.
He'd always had this fascination with action. I mean, if you talk to his biographers, and there's a little bit of this in the film, he always felt kind of insecure. He felt like he played this buckling figure on the screen, this man of action on the screen, but he was really just an actor. And there was some insecurity, I think, around that. And so he, throughout his life, made a conscious attempt to kind of seek out the action. In the 30s, he goes to Spain because he wants to experience the Civil War in Spain. And in the late 1950s, it's the revolution in Cuba. And he becomes kind of taken by the figure of Fidel Castro, who in many ways is reminiscent of, Errol Flynn, right? At least his screen persona. This kind of very romantic figure, I'm talking about at the time, obviously. This very kind of romantic figure, and he's up in the mountains and he's, waging, he's Robin Hood, right? Again, at the time, this was sort of the popular image of Castro. And Flynn becomes, I think, very interested in that. And so he goes off to Cuba at the end of 1958 and finds himself kind of with a bit part in the revolution.
Well, I am looking forward to having everyone share this film with you because it's so much fun, and it goes even beyond Errol Flynn. So thank you so much. I just find it fascinating.
Well, we're really looking forward to sharing the film and showing it in Vero. We love getting up to Vero. I'm in Miami, so we try to get up as much as we can. And I think people will enjoy it. And again, yes, and we did the Cube, obviously, as David mentioned, and we filmed these amazing historical theaters, some of which have been beautifully preserved, others not so much. But it really is, hopefully it will transport people.
All right. Thanks so much, Gaspar. We really appreciate you coming.
Thank you
and
very
we're going to
much.
continue this conversation when you get up here because we'll be doing our podcast on a more frequent basis. So before we go to break, I want to thank New Vision Eye Center for sponsoring the podcast and now the video cast. Because you all know I wouldn't trust my eyes to anyone else. We'll be right back.
Dr. Stephen Tate offers the safest and most efficient technique for customized cataract surgery. Patients are personally counseled on the best approach for their needs and lifestyle. From multifocal lenses that allow for distance and reading vision to toric lenses that correct astigmatism, let New Vision Eye Center guide you safely through your options. For world-class eye care on the Treasure Coast, visit newvisioneyecenter.com.
At Sunshine Furniture, our 35,000 square foot showroom is filled with the largest selection of in-stock coastal furniture on the Treasure Coast. Dining and bedroom sets, occasional tables, sofas, sleeper sofas, love seats, and chairs, including lots of slipcover styles from Universal Upholstery, Four Seasons, and Capri. At Sunshine Furniture, we have a gallery of Tommy Bahama and Lexington designed for a relaxed approach to the finer things in life. Right now, we have selected groups marked down for our spring clearance, and also all pictures, lamps, and accessories are half price. Sunshine Furniture, $12.95 US 1 in Vero Beach, next to Planet Fitness. Visit our website at sunshinefurniturecasual.com and visit our outlet and closeout store directly across the street.
Sunshine Furniture, the best in every way. Have a sunshine day. Sunshine Furniture, the best in every way. Have a sunshine day. Sunshine.
Time to take on those spring projects. Sturgis has lumber, hardware, and paint supplies. And for convenience, no one beats Sturgis. Just a stone's throw from Grand Harbor and Waterway Village at 4645 US 1 Vero. Sturgis Lumber and Hardware, more than just lumber.
Got hungry kids? Great, because kids eat free every Tuesday at the grill at C.W. Willis Family Farms. Enjoy American favorites out on the spacious patio.
C.W. Willis, what you gonna grill us?
On Oslo Road in Vero Beach, online at cwwillisfamilyfarms.com.
And we are back. I do want to remind everybody that they can get their tickets to the film festival at vbfilmfest.org. That's VB, Vero Beach, filmfest.org. And just remind everybody, if we haven't told you, Huffington Post called us one of the top 100 film festivals worldwide. So very worth your while to buy tickets, no matter where you're from. I know we have many listeners that are not Florida-based, so we're hoping that you'll find it interesting enough to make your way down here June 9th through 12th. Anyway, we've got another great interview coming up, and Susan will take it.
Hey there. Yes, we're welcoming Lisa Belcher back to our festival. She won for dramatic shorts in 2018 for her film called Guest of Honor. It was amazing. And now we have her back with a comedy short, and it's called Javelina Run. Welcome, Lisa.
Thank you so much for having me. I did not get to make it down there for the festival when Guest of Honor played, which I was very sad about, but I'm so thrilled to be coming to the festival for the first time this year. Yes, with Javelina Run, my comedy Western.
Yes, tell us about it. Tell us about the film.
So Javelina Run is a silly Western about two idiot ranch hands who roll into Javelina County and they are looking to get a date. So they come up with this crazy story that they robbed the train because ladies love dangerous men, right? So that's the gist of the story. There's lots of fun, different characters, and we shot it here in Texas, just outside of Austin, in a town called Blanco. And it was such a fun journey to make it, and it's had a lot of success on the festival circuit. So I'm excited to share it with you guys.
You know what I was really taken with? It's been such a long time since somebody captured the look and feel of the Westerns we used to actually watch when we were much younger. You know, it wasn't sort of a modern take on Westerns. It could have been the same set as Liberty Valance. And you've created that environment so well. How did you, well, you're a director, but can you tell us more how you chose the environment and the whole sensibility?
Yeah, absolutely. So, so Aaron Hale is the writer, and he also plays the lead role of Clarence. And so Aaron and I were working on a comedy feature script that we were co-writing, and my producing partner found this location, and he said, what if we did a Western? And Aaron and I just kind of chatted about it, and he came up with this idea for the script, and we kind of jumped in and went with it. And then Alex, my cinematographer, the two of us talked about how we're going to plan sort of the look and everything. And I thought, okay, I need to dig in deep and watch a bunch of Westerns. And then I decided, no, I'm not going to do that. I'm just going to make it the way I feel it should be. And there definitely are some tropes and things in there that are of the classic Western. But I also was inspired by films of the Coen brothers and of Wes Anderson. So I feel like it has, you know, maybe, I hope, a little bit of their style. At least they were inspirations kind of mixed in there as well.
Now, you had a huge number of people on the set. I mean, it's a huge cast for a short. That's unusual. Tell me about that.
Yeah, it was a really big group when when I showed up to set in July in Texas, which, by the way, that's not the best time of year to shoot a film. It's very hot. But yeah, we had almost 100 people on set because we had a lot of extras and a lot of characters. And it was actually fun. All the extras came from all sorts of places in Texas, and a lot of them were reenactors. And so they were very passionate about their costumes. And so they brought all of that with them, which was very helpful because this is a very low budget film. So yeah, we had a huge group of people, but everybody worked so hard and is so proud of Javelina Run. You can tell on social media to post and having been a part of it. So that was really nice.
How'd you find the two guys?
Pardon?
How did you find the two guys?
Okay.
Oh, your lead character.
Excuse me. So yes. the two main characters. Yeah. So so Aaron, like I mentioned, he was the writer. And so when he wrote it, I knew that I wanted him to play the lead. And then Avery Merrifield plays the role of Jasper. And I have worked with him on other things and just know of him in the Austin community. And I thought, I know he's going to nail this role of Jasper. So those are the two I kind of wanted originally. And then we went through the casting process and had a lot of people come in. And there's a lot of talent in Austin, which was really fun to see. But after all those auditions and everything, I kind of went back to my original choice of Avery and Aaron. And I think they nailed it. I love watching every time, and I get a good giggle, and I hope everybody else does too.
Well, I had watched it several times, and last night again I watched it, and I just laughed hysterically. But I did notice you also have a part in the movie as well.
I do. I play the role of Jane, and my sort of partner in crime is Horse Feathers, played by Lorelei Linklater. I'm sure you've heard her last name before. Her father is a well-known filmmaker, Dazed and Confused, and et cetera. So yeah, the women in this story have a really fun role, which I'm not going to ruin it for you. So you have to watch the film. But it was really it was fun to play these parts or to play the role of Jane. It was a challenge also to sort of go back and forth, behind the camera. On Guest of Honor, as you remember, I played the lead in that, and just having the two actors was a bit easier, and that was I don't know, just felt easier to do. Whereas Javelina Run with so many different characters and everything, sort of hopping back and forth was a challenge. But I had such a great team and a great cast that I think it worked out. So,
you know, I always ask a lot of our directors if when they made the short, is there a bigger plan to expand it into a full-length feature?
Great question. Absolutely. And that's kind of part of the reason I wanted to make this. I was inspired by the Coen brothers, The Ballad of Buster Scruggs, which is a collection of like, I think it's 6 short films that are kind of all strung together. And as we all know, independent film is very expensive and kind of hard to pull off a feature. So I thought that this would kind of be a first story in a collection of shorts that happen in Javelina County. So I absolutely am sort of heading in the direction of either making, you know, a full-length feature version of Javelina Run with different stories, different characters, or possibly a series. So anyone out there who wants to get involved in a Western, contact me, because we want to make it for sure. I think it's had a good amount of success, and I think people would enjoy the longer version.
It is so much fun, and we are so thankful to have you on our podcast, and we're really excited you're coming to Vero, and you got to watch Javelina Run when you come to our festival. You will love it.
Can't wait to meet you in person.
Thank you, Lisa.
I know. I can't wait. I'm so excited. You got me nervous about the booking of the flights. I gotta book our flights and figure all that out.
Yes, do that right away. I just booked my daughter's, so you do need to do that. So.
All right.
I can't wait. I'm so excited. Susan, you've always been so friendly, and the personal call I'll tell you, is a rare thing at film festivals. So I can't wait to come down. I know it's going to be a great time.
Well, I fall in love with all you filmmakers, so I have to call you.
I think that's what we're dedicated to, really, is celebrating the filmmakers.
Yes, absolutely. You know. And our town loves you.
All right. And I can't wait to meet you.
Well, so, thanks.
There we are. All right. The festival. So, you know, when you talked about the Vintner Dinner, we were thinking about renaming it, but then it looks like we're going to really have a lot of wine. In fact, you know, we put up a first ad, which I think is hitting the papers, and it says, we're back, you know, after a couple of years of being away. And on the bottom, it says, no, we didn't forget the wine. So if that's the part that you're really interested in, I just want you to know we have the wine, but we have this dinner that actually kicks off the festival. And it's a really fun dinner, and there are surprises and surprise entertainment. And I hope when you look at vbfilmfest.org and you're looking at your options, and I'll go over the options again, we have that pick 4, like Susan said, where you can really pick 4 movies that you'd like to see. Maybe you'll wait a day to hear the buzz about them and then go see the 4. Or if you're a cinemaphile, I think I said that right, you can pick the Cinema Select, which allows you to go to any movie, anytime, and even get to enjoy our opening night party and our closing event. And then, of course, it goes on from there, where you can pick and be a VIP, where you can do everything, all our parties, all our dinners, the whole works. So why don't you look at your options on vbfilmfest.org and pick one of them. And it's really easy, you know, and you just click, put in that little credit card, and you can buy a ticket, and then we could see you. And by the way, you get a chance to meet the film directors also.
And also, you definitely want to plan on getting to our festival and getting our tickets as early as possible. You will just have a great time. It's vbfilmfest.org, and we look forward to seeing you there.
All right. Any other things we have to talk about, Susan?
That dinner. I don't know what it's going to be called. We're calling it the Vintner Dinner right now, but we're going to call it something. We need to make it special and unique for us, you know, the post-COVID world. So
well, sometimes you keep it just because it's historical and people have known it throughout the years that it was the Vintner Dinner. And I think that's why we sort of kept the name.
Okay.
And, you know, maybe, give us some suggestions. I think will be out on Facebook now. So just give us a little comment. Maybe you want to change the name.
And the dinner is June 8th. It's Wednesday night. It's a pre-festival event.
All right, everybody. Really, thanks for watching. Thanks for listening. And we'll see you next week.
Thank you.